All right, welcome everyone to another USI Tech Talk. Today we have Mike Gabor with Cortec to talk to us about critical spares and how to protect those really critical parts that are sitting in your warehouse that are uh, uh, able to be corroded or otherwise damaged before put in use. Mike, you want to kick it off?
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction. Sharing my presentation now, so hopefully you guys can all see this okay. And we'll get this thing started. So first of all, I'll introduce myself, Mike Gabor. I'm Vice President of Sales for Cortec Corporation. As you'll see at the end, I have got a 614 area code. I'm a Columbus, Ohio native who's also spent time in Indiana, Minnesota, and most recently in Florida. I travel throughout North America and support applications for customers. And I think one of the important things is our partnership with our authorized distribution like USI is that you can always have a direct technical relationship with Cortec. You can reach out to us at any time. There's a lot of trust built into that relationship. So today we're going to go through a quick introduction to Cortec, what we do and what we offer, and talk about critical spares and preservation. We certainly aren't going to touch on everything, but I think the idea is to let you know what some of our capabilities are, and then we can dive deeper into specific applications. So we're coming up on 50 years, founded in 1977 in St. Paul, Minnesota. And we are a vertically integrated manufacturer of corrosion inhibiting specialty chemicals. That's our primary business, is rust prevention. We're very quality driven with ISO certifications. Hang on a second, I just need to move something out of my way so I can see some of this. We'll just minimize. There we go. 9001, 14001. We had our environmental management system certification in the mid 1990s when most people didn't even know it existed. And we also maintain an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. We have 5 US facilities and 5 international facilities. And product-wise, we make more than 500 products, including 60 patents, and very much have always had an environmental responsibility technology kind of focus as a company, even way before it was cool. Our global reach is now more than 100 countries around the world. Oh, there we go. So just to show you some of our pictures of some of our facilities, that lower picture is our headquarters in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. We export globally about 50% of the products that we make here in North America. Cortec Advanced Films is the upper. Actually, that's not a photo on this one, but we make corrosion inhibiting plastics and film products. We have a coated products division for papers and specialty goods, spray technologies that does small packages. You don't need to know what all these are, but we very much use vertical integration to control quality and our inputs and outputs. In Europe, you're going to see our owner is Croatian born. So he's picked most of our European locations. So we have 3 in Croatia. We have manufacturing sites, sales offices, and blending and production facilities, as well as a Cortec office in Southeast Asia in Singapore. That's Boris. He's our owner. I sat down with Boris on Monday of this week. He's still extremely active in the company. He's a National Association of Corrosion Engineers Fellow and Lifetime member. He's very proud of the technology and things that we've done, and we have hundreds of years of corrosion experience within our company. So what we do, in-house state-of-the-art research and development labs. So if we don't have the solution for a customer, we have some really smart people that can usually put something together. As I mentioned, vertical integration is a really important part of what we do to maintain quality, cost, and consistency. We also synthesize our own proprietary chemicals. So you'll see terms like VCI, VpCI in the market, vapor phase, corrosion inhibitors. We have molecules at Cortec that are only made at Cortec and nowhere else in the world. Like I said, more than 500 products, 108 countries around the world, and owner of more than 60 patents. I mentioned the ISO certifications, but I'm going to move quickly because we do have a 15-minute window here, right? So this is a good visual representation of where we are in the world. We have relationships with companies like Caterpillar, where we are committed to be on site within 48 hours or less anywhere in the world. And over a 10-year period, we've hit it every time. So let's get into the technology. Vapor phase corrosion inhibitor and how it works. So VpCI molecules are attracted to the metal surface at a higher affinity than water. The attraction for a VpCI molecule to metal is actually about 1,000 times stronger than water, yet it is temporary in most cases. And so when the component is removed from a VCI package, the chemistry floats away into the air and doesn't have any kind of negative impacts. The molecules themselves they'd be those green molecules that you see depicted on there. They're hydrophobic. They push water away from the surface of the metal and don't allow it to begin the corrosion prevention process. So how do they work? So this is kind of VCI in action. We call this the half immersion test. And I'll jump to the bottom right of your screen, the steel wool in bottles. I think we've all experienced steel wool and how quickly it corrodes. I mean, within minutes on the counter or on your sink when it's gotten wet. That picture, what we do is we only want to submerge half of the metal in this demonstration or test to show that a VCI, when added to the water, will provide that corrosion protection that we talked about, that affinity for metal in the water, but also at the interface and in the airspace. And so that's one of the beauties of this type of technology is you can really deliver it in a lot of different ways, and it doesn't require like 100% coverage and coating. It's a lot more user-friendly to apply because it heals itself and takes care of the work for us. I'm not going to go through this video, but well, we'll go. I'm going to skip that. So basically, Cortec VpCI uses Fick's law of diffusion, right? So it's one of the enablers of VpCI chemistry. That molecules are going to move from a high concentration to a low concentration. And our goal is to get to a point where we have enough molecules inside of a package or an airspace or a gearbox and closed space that we reach equilibrium. And at that point, we've got that fully interactional molecule touching all the metal surfaces and providing rust prevention. So this is another example of steel wool in bottles. I still carry a set of these around with me. It's a really good visual to help people understand how this magic dust works, right? It's a great product and it's a lot of science behind the chemistry, but we've had a lot of doubters over the years. So sometimes we'll mix these up for you and let them sit and just help people to understand how effective this technology can be for your applications. If we incorporate into things like coatings, whether they're temporary or permanent, those molecules also work under the surface. So traditional coatings would use traditional inhibitors, zincs, chromates, very large particles and molecules in comparison to our VpCI. And so you would have, on a microscopic level, the possibility of getting corrosion underneath of a coating. When we add a VpCI technology to a temporary or permanent coating, those molecules work their way down and make sure that they're protecting every small component of the metal surface. So we are specialists in corrosion over a very broad swath of industry: oil and gas, energy and mining, automotive, aerospace and aviation, shipbuilding and marine, MRO, food processing. If you've ever been in a food processing facility and seen how it gets washed down in order to meet FDA regulations, you can know why they have so much corrosion on their electronic enclosures. Certainly military, construction, and any other that's dealing with any kind of metals with it will need to be protected. So we can do a lot of different applications. So like the flow path. So this would be for like an air path, an exhaust system on an engine, for example. We have VpCI technologies that are compatible with air-based systems. We also have VpCI that's compatible with water-based systems. So hydro testing, testing of engines, a coolant that's within like a motor or a diesel engine or a generator that's water-based. We can put this VpCI technology into those applications. We have products that are compatible with steam-based systems, scrubbers, air systems, certainly lubricating and hydraulic systems. So if you have gearboxes or motors, things that have internal oil-based applications, we have VpCI products that will go into those. What I'm really pleased is that over my 28 years with Cortec is I've seen us not only have great corrosion protection, but for things like lubricating and hydraulic systems, is we've gotten a lot better at making sure that our products are operationally compatible. Certainly, if you're going to store a product for a year or two, you should probably drain out what's ever in it and put new fluids in. But we've gotten to the point where, you know what, if your customer forgets to do that, we're not going to create a problem on the operational system. So a lot more compatibility later in my career than when I first started. And that makes it a lot easier on all of us. There are numerous lists of other components here that we can provide protection to. I don't really think I've ever run into something that we can't. We want to take a look at a lot of considerations, right? So this usually begins with a pretty in-depth conversation. What do you have to preserve? What are the details of the equipment and the systems? What's the current condition? Do things need to be cleaned or derusted? Can we access those? How are they going to be stored? Where are they going to be stored and how long? And then what are the plans for recommissioning? Maybe you have no idea. Maybe you have a plan to restart a plant, years down the road. So we need to know those kind of things. Then we certainly look at compatibilities, and that's that oil, water, air, metal surface kind of thing. We want to provide a product that is as compatible and easy to work with as possible, something that has the minimum impact on removal at the end of the storage life, and certainly health and safety as well. Going to move a little faster here and get into some of these photos, right? So I think this is actually a heat recovery steam generator wrapped in our product. This also has different chemicals that have been applied on the inside. So this product is designed to provide corrosion protection in an outdoor, in this case, even ocean application. So very aggressive environments. Some of the things that we can do for like a shipment or testing, if we need additional validation, we'll incorporate temperature and humidity sensors inside and outside of packages. A lot of times customers want to validate that, hey, you guys really know what you're doing. We also want to have some data that goes along with it. So when we're doing these kind of preservation applications, especially for global export and import applications, we often include these kind of sensors so that we can record data and show, did we see conditions, condensation and dew points where we would have expected to see corrosion happen? And if that's the case and we're corrosion free at the end, we've got some really good data. And that's really helpful from the engineering standpoint. So hidden costs of not protecting, right? And we see this unfortunately all the time. We sell a lot of rust remover products. And, ideally we don't sell any. If we could get to every customer before things were in that kind of state, we'd be a lot better for it. This is just an estimate we did for an oil and gas customer who we do a lot of work with. Initially, there's a little bit more cost on best practices, but over time, the cost avoidance of doing nothing is significant. So best practices for this, we have warehouse people. We need great people, right? So we want to reject non-compliant materials, things that are rusted and dirty. We do on-site training. So whether a customer wants to do application on their own, or if they want us to bring in a third party, we actually have a division of our company that does applications on site. Those are available. And then we're going to look at the process, make sure that the space and material handling requirements are going to support the applications, and work with material flow to capture any kind of non-compliance, then mitigate and deliver the finished goods. And then we want to warehouse those products, make sure they're available as needed to you for your operations as well. So here's a really good comparison. We had a customer who to do something or to do not do something, right? So on the left, we applied a total cost of about $120 to this component. And on the right, we put nothing. So $45 in materials and 30 minutes of labor. On the right, no preservation required. This had to be recertified. Often you have to shot blast, recheck tolerances. You're looking at $1,500 cost of refurbishing plus the daily cost and delay. It adds up really fast. And I know I'm running out of time, so I'm going to really speed along. We can help to de-rust components. So here's an example of before and after. These chemicals are very safe to work with, citric acid-based chemistries that allow derusting and cleaning so we can get back to a preservable state. Transportation and storage. If you're going to ship on a flatbed without any kind of tarping or coverage, we just need to know that. If it's going to go in a container or a crate, that makes it a little easier. And these are just a lot of different photos of applications of large equipment that have been preserved for a variety of different reasons. You can kind of get a visual of what the end product looks like. What these don't show are, what did we do on the inside? Was there an oil-based need? Was there a water or air-based need that we also protected? So you're kind of seeing the finished product and not necessarily all the internals. We can do up to 30-year plus protection. We also incorporate barrier property, so end of life, all-time buys. In the nuclear power industry, they have a 35-year critical spare requirement, so we can provide that kind of protection as well. It's just a matter of determining what you want. And that's me. That was a really good day. That's a nice chub salmon. I don't like a lot of pictures of myself, but that's one of my favorites. Happy to get in touch with me at any time. Again, Mike Gabor with Cortec, and I look forward to engaging with all of you in the near future.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm going to open up microphones now, and I have one question I'm going to kick off with. So Nick had said that he has a customer looking to protect carbon steel pipe that will be sitting in their yard outside for an extended period. What are the best practices or application methods to get the most effective results using VpCI 337 and pipe covers?
Yeah, absolutely. So VpCI 337 is a water-based vapor phase corrosion inhibitor that we fog. So we can put that into something as simple as a battery-powered paint gun that you can pick up at Home Depot for $40. Or it could be a more complex system. So we actually fog that chemistry inside of the pipe, and then we're going to cap that to maintain that atmosphere. We need to reach that equilibrium. If we also need to protect the outside of the pipe, a few things come to mind. We have a canola-based outdoor storage oil that is actually meets military specifications for long-term outdoor storage. Got a great environmental footprint. We could also do packaging and some other things, but for the internals, the 337 and the caps on the end, and you're done.
Awesome. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Does anyone else have questions for Mike? Mics are open, so you can unmute yourself and just go ahead and ask. No need to raise a hand or anything.
You probably will have questions after the fact, right? It's usually later in the day or tomorrow when you wake up and go, I should have asked that. So reach out to the USI group with any questions you have. Again, you're welcome to reach out to me directly. We'll all share that information, and we're happy to help if you have programs. There's a lot of shutdowns and storage are a consistent thing that happen, and we're here and we have a lot of knowledge and experience to help.
Right. If there aren't any other questions, thank you everybody for joining us today, and thank you, Mike, for that great presentation talking about Cortec and critical spares and all the protection we can do there. Oh, it looks like Chad does have a question. Go ahead, Chad.
We can't hear anything, Chad. Maybe you can also type it if you're having problems with your microphone. We'll give you a minute in case you're typing that out. And if it's about salmon fishing, it's been a while.
I can see that his mic is on, just not getting.
Oh, here we go. Emitter cups for gearboxes. So typically we say our emitters have a 1-year usable life. That's what they're designed for. However, that is also designed for opening and closing things. So we actually did tests 30 years ago that you could put an emitter inside an electrical enclosure and open and close it 10 times briefly a day and still get a year's protection. The reality is if in a gearbox or a very well sealed application, you have an emitter, I'd love to tell you that you need to change it out once a year, but that's really not the case. you certainly could put that in, and I would be comfortable leaving that in for 2 or 3 years without any question.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else have any other questions? All right. Well, thank you everyone again for joining our USI Tech Talk, going over critical spares. You can reach out to us direct at 248-735-7000. Or, of course, if you need to reach Mike, the phone number is in the presentation. And you can always get a hold of your salesperson here at USI. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a great
everyone.
day.
Take care.